Hello everyone, Dan here with the Wealth Instinct. I wanted to share with you my review of Primal Leadership, Learning to Lead with Emotional Intelligence. But first, if you could do me a favor and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon so you get notifications when I add new content. I add a lot of videos on business, personal development, mindset, and also on leadership because that's such an important part of um, being an entrepreneur. So Primal Leadership, I went through a phase a couple years ago. I was doing this leadership program um, through um, through my local chamber of commerce, and went just decided to read as many books as possible on leadership as I could. And this was by far my favorite book on leadership. And it's by Daniel Goleman, Richard Boyatzis, and Annie McKee. And this book, I actually, when I was looking for books to read, I would go online and look for best books on leadership, and you come up with all these different blogs about like the top 5, the top 10, the top 25 books. And this is one that came up here and there. And then, but I just kind of looking at the title, I was like, Primal Leadership, what does that even mean? Like, and I thought it wasn't what I thought it was. But once I realized it was by the author of Emotional Intelligence and Learning to Lead with Emotional Intelligence, like this book, like of all the books I read, this is the one that I was like, I'm going to go back and reread this. Um, this is a really good book. And what I really love about it is that we tend to have all these thoughts about leaders and leaderships, and we tend to notice the effect we tend to notice the leaders who are effective but kind of bad leaders. You know what I mean? And this is kind of what turned me off on leadership growing up is the bad leaders who are trying hard but aren't good at connecting with people, and so they end up getting the job done, but they leave kind of a bad taste in your mouth. And this book is about how to avoid that, and so how to and basically with the primal leadership, they talk about the primal role of a leader, and the primal role is to create resonance in an organization, right? And so what you want as a leader, your job as a leader, is to create an overwhelming sense of positivity and optimism in your organization so that people feel safe coming forward with new ideas and and new approaches. And you have to create a safe space for people to fail, right? Like if everyone's afraid of messing up, you're not going to have an innovative company, right? In order to innovate, and an innovation isn't just new products, it's new ways of doing business, it's new ways of interacting with your clients, and I think one of the reasons that a lot of businesses struggle with social media is that they're so ingrained in how they've done things for so long. When they have these young employees, these new employees who are like, hey, we should have an Instagram page, or hey, what about TikTok? Can we, and the leadership is, they don't feel safe sharing that at work, and they don't feel safe saying those things. They're worried about getting, um, you know, laughed at or looked down on, and then you don't hear these new ideas. New ideas are so delicate. It's like a seed that's just starting to grow. You know, even you look at like a giant sequoia, right? Like that tree is an immovable object, but it started off as a tiny little seedling, and that's how ideas are. They're so fragile when they start and they can get trampled so easily. And if you're not creating a reservoir of positivity, if you're not creating a safe place for new ideas to grow and flourish, then you're not going to innovate in your business. And what I love about primal leadership is that's what they claim the role of a leader is. It's just to to give people space to grow, to make them feel safe and able to grow. And it's interesting. I'm just noticing this is Google Reads, and they've got 3 stars here. I should probably go in and read these reviews. Um, it looks like they only got one 5 star, 5 4 stars. Like honestly, you know, I I've probably only read 30 books on leadership, and I say only 30 because there's hundreds. Um, but this is by far my favorite book on leadership, and so I'm curious to see what these other people think about it, and maybe you totally disagree. Like I would love to hear your thoughts, and like um and and what you think a good leadership book is. Um, but but this is definitely my favorite, and really it's just all about, you know, being a leader is about helping other people grow. You know, when I in my business, I realized pretty quickly that in order for me to take on more and become more and do more, I had to give up some of the things I was doing to people that worked for me, which was kind of scary, you know, because you start to own a task and you think this is my job, but in order for you to grow, you've got to help others grow, and you've got to give them a path to growth, which means that if you're not growing, how are you going to help them grow? And and it's a little scary, but that's the job of a leader, you know. And so um, really recommend this book. Can't say enough good things about it, but just all about making people feel safe, and 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 allowing people space to mess up. You know, like you don't learn unless you make a mistake, and if you're afraid to make a mistake, you're not going to learn. So you've got to hire good people, and you know, train them in what you want, the result you want, but give them some freedom in how they get there, and allow them to make mistakes. You know, I tell my employees all the time, like, I trust your judgment. Um, do what you think is right. If you're really not sure, call me. But you know, at the end, if you do something wrong or you do something that didn't work out well, we'll talk about it, and we'll talk about what we could do differently next time. You know, so that way they're not sitting there thinking, what would Dan want me to do? They're thinking, well, what's the best thing to do in this situation? You know, according to our business and our values, and that way they go through that growth process and that experience, and then if it doesn't work out well, then we talk about it, and then we all learn and grow from it. So anyway, really hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you check out this book. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments, and we'll talk soon.